Do you want to hear a story about a 10-year-old serial killer? Can you even fathom that? A little girl, a precious little girl at 10 years old, killing people. I can't even imagine that, bro. But let's hop into this video. What's good? Dark Knight Gang. I'm Neptune. Hey, man. This video we're about to watch, 10-year-old serial killer. The 10-year-old serial killer. And this video is from Twisted Minds. Oh, listen, I'm in the clouds right now. Oh my God, this is about to be a crazy video, bro. I hope you guys enjoyed this just like how I'm about to enjoy it. Let's watch it together. I don't even understand how a little girl could be killing people at 10 years old. I've always had a twisted mind, but like, nah. I don't know, bro. We gotta see. Shout out to the gang. Everybody have a great day. Yeah, you already know. Let's go.
Mary Bell was born on May 26, 1957, to Betty, a 16-year-old prostitute who reportedly asked doctors to take her daughter away from her.
Oh, shit.
Things only went downhill from there, with Betty often going away on business trips to Glasgow, Scotland. Having her mom disappeared upset young Mary.
So you can already see the type of home the little girl grew up in. Her mom didn't want her from jump. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Despite the mental and physical abuse her mom often inflicted upon her.
Yeah.
On one occasion,
it was
Betty's
something
own
crazy.
sister watched Betty try to give Mary away to a woman who had been unsuccessfally trying to adopt her.
Damn.
The sister quickly stopped the shady deal and brought the girl back to her mother. Mary was also known to be weirdly accident-prone, once falling from a window and suspiciously overdosing on sleeping pills by accident.
So her mom was trying to kill her. Do you hear that? She was falling from a window and she was taking sleeping pills. Yeah, right.
Some people believe the accidents were down to Betty trying to get rid of her own
Exactly.
daughter, while others believe it was a case of Munchausen's by proxy, which meant that Betty enjoyed the attention and sympathy she got from her daughter's misfortunes. Disgustingly, Mary herself says she was subject to repeated sexual acts, with her mother forcing her to engage with men from the age of 5, something her family knew nothing about. They did know, however, that Mary had already witnessed death firsthand when her 5-year-old friend was run over and killed by a bus. With everything that had happened to her, it's understandable that she was a withdrawn and disturbed child who became incredibly manipulative and violent. For weeks before her first murder, Mary Bell had been acting extremely strange. On May 11, 1968, Mary had been playing with a 3-year-old boy when he was badly injured by falling off an air raid shelter. His parents thought it was just an accident, but Mary and the young boy knew different. The next day, 3 mothers came forward to tell police that Mary had attempted to choke their young daughters. The police interviewed the child, but was soon let off with a stern telling off. Sadly, if these complaints were taken more seriously, the future of this young girl and the lives she would soon destroy could have been very different.
Yeah. Nobody probably wanted to believe a little girl could be a killer. You know what I mean? You know the thought that just popped into my head, bro? I might be off, but listen to this theory. What if, since her mom was abusing her since she was a kid, trying to kill her, she's repeating the same actions that she just is witnessing from her mother? Think about that, bro. Since her mom been trying to get rid of her since the day she was born, all she's doing is imitating her mother with other kids. Oh my God.
On May 25th, 1968, the body of 4-year-old Martin Brown was discovered in an abandoned building. At first, it was regarded as a sad and unfortunate accident because the initial investigation claimed that there were no obvious marks or injuries found. 2 young boys hunting for scrap wood had entered the abandoned house and were confronted with the small corpse of Martin Brown lying under a window. Next to the body was an empty bottle of aspirin, which led police to speculate that he had taken too much and had overdosed on the medicine. Even though the boy had dried blood and saliva on his cheek that had run down to his chin, there were no signs of struggle and no marks on his body at all. It seemed like he had just taken some pills, lay down, and never woke up. Unbeknownst to the police, Mary lured the boy into the house and then strangled him to death with her small hands. She then brought Norma to the house to show off her handiwork. Mary then took it upon herself to run and find Martin's aunt, telling the woman she knew where Martin was and that he was covered in blood from an accident. The poor woman unwittingly followed her nephew's murderer to the scene of the crime. In the days that followed, she was tormented by both Mary
I'm just trying to picture a young girl just strangling a baby. Like, that's insane.
and Norma, who would torture her by
Insane.
asking questions, such as how sad the family were and if his mother was missing him. Eventually, Martin's aunt stopped opening the door. On one occasion, Mary knocked on the door of Martin's house and asked his mother if she could see Martin. Confused, the mourning woman told the girl that Martin had died, at which Mary replied, "Oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin."
Yo.
This must have been absolutely awful for that poor mother, especially after finding out that it was this little girl who coldly took his life. Disturbingly, for a class assignment, Mary drew a picture of a boy lying exactly in the same position that Martin Brown was found in.
This
with the
little
bottom
girl is evil. She is so evil, bro.
labeled tablet.
Yo.
To make it even more sickening, she called it, "There has been a boy who had just laid down and died." Although Mary wasn't the only child who knew about how Martin had died, she was the only one to draw the scene. Although this sounds bizarre, her teacher wasn't suspicious,
This
as
little girl,
she knew the
bro.
children had heard about the death.
This little girl's out of her mind. She committed a crime and started bragging about it. Start drawing masterpieces about it. Talking about the crime that she committed. Oh yeah, if anybody knew, she has all the signs of a serial killer, man. Crazy. But can you blame her or do you blame her upbringing? Let's keep going. I'm faded. I'm so
Mary's
enjoying this.
attack on other children and her bragging attitude continued. At one point, she pointed to the house where Martin Brown's body was found and told neighborhood children that it had been the place she had killed someone. A story that was followed by a laugh. On May 26, 1968, Mary's 11th birthday, the girl attacked Norma's younger sibling. She was so violent that Norma's father had to physically remove her from the home. This pattern of violence was not anything surprising to anyone who knew Mary, as her temper began to spiral out of control. After Martin Brown's tiny coffin was buried, Mary, wanting to be in the spotlight again, turned on her best friend Norma and viciously attacked her. She scratched at her face and kicked her in the head, finishing the attack by telling the girl she was a killer and that she was willing to kill again. Experts believe that killers do this to satisfy their narcissistic egos and to keep the buzz of killing going as long as they possibly can. On the 31st of July 1968, Mary and Norma Bell took part in the death again by strangling of a 3-year-old named Brian Howe on a wasteland near the same area that Martin Brown was killed. After the boy was killed at the hands of Mary Bell, the girls returned later on to carve the letter N into the poor boy's stomach with a razor blade, which was later changed to an M, the two initials of the girls. Mary Bell also used a pair of scissors to cut off some of Howe's hair, scratch his legs, and severely mutilate his genitals. As the girls were so young and their testimonies kept contradicting each other, no one will ever know for certain what happened that day. What is clear, however, is the depths of depravity that were displayed that day.
I have no words, bro. They're just clear serial killers who had issues from the start. And at this point, it doesn't matter if it was caused by their mom or if it just came about. They are freaking insane. Like, what type of punishment would be just to give to these young girls? Should they die? Should you give them the death penalty? They sound insane. So would you feel okay giving these little girls the death penalty? I don't know if I could. But as the video go on, I'll formulate an opinion more as the video goes on. Let's keep going. It's a good video so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
After the killing of the second child, police began to suspect that the letters left at the nursery were not sick pranks at all, but someone admitting to the murder of Martin Brown. The police quickly collected information about the possible suspects. During this process, they focused more on the children in the area and questioned them about the recent murder cases. Of all the children, 2 girls, Norma and Mary Bell, stood out as acting odd. When Norma was questioned about the murder, she couldn't stop smiling and expressing how excited she was to be part of the investigation. The detective noticed that Norma wasn't reacting normally, taking the whole process as one big joke. Mary Bell acted in a similar way, evading questions and acting strangely. During the questioning, Mary had said that she had seen Brian Howe playing with another 8-year-old boy in the area where the accident had happened. She later added that this boy had been carrying a pair of scissors. This intrigued the police as they hadn't released the information about the scissors to the public. During Brian's funeral, a police detective was watching Mary Bell's behavior. He described how the girl had a sinister look on her face, rubbing her hands with excitement. This led police to questioning Norma once again, which led the girl to admitting everything that had happened, including the horrendous acts her best friend had committed on Martin Brown and Brian Howe. According to Norma, Mary had told her that she enjoyed strangling both children and mutilating the body of the 3-year-old. For a period of time, each girl blamed the other for the murders, which resulted in Norma's parents stepping forward and explaining that it was Mary who had shown violence, even toward their own family, and that their daughter couldn't possibly have been responsible. On the 17th of December 1968, Norma Bell was acquitted of all the crimes. Mary Bell, however, was convicted of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility, following the jury listening to a diagnosis from psychiatrists who said that the girl showed clear signs of psychopathy. The judge, Mr. Justice Casack, described her as dangerous and said she posed a very grave risk to other children. She was initially sent to the Red Bank Secure Unit in St. Helens, Lancashire, UK, before being moved around quite frequently during the time she spent imprisoned. After her conviction, Mary got a lot of attention from the press. Her mother, who was ironically blamed for her daughter's mental health because of her awful upbringing, repeatedly sold stories to the press. She would even sell pages that she claimed to have been written by Mary. It's sad that this woman managed to get attention and financial gain from a child who she reportedly forced into prostitution and later went on to murder 2 children while being just 11 years old herself. Mary did make headlines for herself again in September 1977, when she briefly escaped from Moore Court Open Prison. Fortunately, she was caught and lost her prison privileges for 28 days, a pretty tame punishment for a child killer on the run. After serving 12 years in various jails, Bell was released at the age of 23. She was also granted total anonymity, so she could escape the media frenzy and protect herself from attacks. Only 4 years after being released from jail, she became a mother to a baby girl. Mary and her baby unbelievably lived in her own hometown of Tyneside straight after her release. But the community made sure she didn't stay for long. While keeping her anonymity, Mary helped contribute to a biography written about her and was paid for it. This disgusted the government, who tried to block the publication in the UK. Mary Bell's daughter's anonymity was meant to stop at the age of 18, but on the 21st of May 2003, Bell won a high court battle to have her own anonymity and that of her daughter extended for life. This was a first in the UK, with any court order permanently protecting the identity of someone known as a Mary Bell order. In 2009, the child killer became a grandmother, giving the woman a second chance at nurturing and protecting a life, contrary to 50 years previously, where she had snuffed it out with her bare hands.
That's
no one
a
is
crazy
100%
life.
sure where Belle is now, with the
That is a
anonymity
crazy
order
life.
protecting her for the rest of her life. It probably will be a long time until someone finds out where Belle moved to, and will most likely be shared after she passes away. But after a childhood of abuse, forced prostitution, and trauma, does Mary Bell deserve to live the rest of her days as a normal person with a normal family? Or should there be no forgiveness for a child who killed other children?
All right, bro. This was a great video from Twisted Minds. Let's answer his question. He said, should a child killer who was a child herself be forgiven and be allowed to live a normal life? Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. Before you hear my answer, I don't want you copying off of me. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Should we be allowed, or not should we be allowed, should they be allowed to be forgiven for them being a child killer when they were young themselves? You know what? You know what? It seemed like everything worked out and they forgave her. And she's a grandmother now. So yeah, I think we should forgive her. She was a child herself. You know what I'm saying? If she got the help that she needed and everything improved, I think we should. So I guess I wouldn't have gave her the death penalty if I was in that situation, because of everything that the child has been through, you know? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that answer. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. You gonna forgive? You think that child should be killed themselves? Let me know down in the comments. Shout out to the gang. Everybody have a great night. Yeah. Peace.